Mania? All these are regarded as a chemical stress. Thermal stress, the the thermal stress, the heat or the sunlight, all these are affecting the skin or skin can withstand a certain degree of the heat, but beyond the burning degree. UV light of the sun also can be prevented from its harmful effect through the melanin pigment found in the skin. Excretion. So many ions and excess water can be excreted through the skin, through the sweating process. Vitamin D synthesis, the precursor of vitamin D, which is found in the dermal layer with the triglyceride in the hypodermis, all these can be synthesized in the skin. Sensation. So many nerve endings and mechanoreceptors are found in the skin. How you can feel the different degree of the temperature. Through the temperature receptors found in the skin. Also, there are pain receptors. Also, thermoregulation. Through a process of sweating, there will be maintenance of the internal environment. يعني تو كرياضة أكيا كجرمات أبوشي أنا أكيد توا خاصة أواني تازة أشوف الرياضة وخلاص كان بداية الله أعرف كدو وزني losing of weight takes place during or through excessive sweating. No, sweating is a compensatory mechanism the body does through excretion of excess water in order to lower the internal temperature, the homeostasis, the internal environment. As far as the type of skin, there are two types of skins in the body, thin and thick. Let's start with the thick skin, which is confined to two places in the body, in the palm of hands and in the sole of the feet. بس لو دوشنا thick skin hair بيشي أوتري non hairy skin. بحياتي مويلي ناروي مانيا. The rest of the body is covered by thin skin, and by itself the thin skin is different from one place to another that it covers. For example, the skin in the eyelid is regarded as a thinnest skin in the body. زول تنكا eyelid. The skin in the face is less or thinner than the skin that covers your chest and abdomen or back, and so on. The layer is, or the layers of the skin, the outer layer is called epidermis, which is formed from epithelium, so it is avascular. Epithelium, stratified, keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, and the inner layer, or the layer that lies under the epidermis, is called dermis. And dermis by itself is composed of two sublayers. The outer one, or the superficial one, is called papillary layer, dermis, and reticular layer, which is the widest one. Hypodermis, in some textbook, or even when you are searching in different sites in the Google, it is discussed with the skin. It is not part of the skin. It is just a connective tissue layer, mainly made of fat, lying under the skin, or connecting the skin to the underlying structures like muscle and bone. Epidermis is بس ليرك كيراتينايز ده كان بيرد شوى خوتان إضافي كان. Epidermis is stratified squamous epithelium of keratinized type. Contains 5 layers. 5 layers or stratum. Stratum means layer, and it is separated from the dermis what's lying between the dermis and the epidermis is the basement membrane of what? Of the epithelial layer of the epidermis. So in this image, you see this is the skin, this is the superficial, the surface of the skin. You see here we have these hairs coming outside, epidermis, then dermis, and beneath the dermis there is hypodermis. The dermis and hypodermis are highly vascular layer, while epidermis is avascular. The 5 layers of the epidermis, in the thin skin, there are 4 layers. The 4th layer, stratum lucidum, is found only in the thick skin. So don't mention stratum lucidum in thin skin when you enumerate. From below upward, the first layer here is the stratum basale or germinativum. From its name, it means the renewal of the skin to replace the shedded or the damaged superficial layer starts from the basal layer. طبعا من لوكو يارمتيك جاران أو ليرانا همو بديكم بونسون يستار كافية بس ناوكي بزار كم حاضرك الزور دولو ليش بو يعني أزام you will be exhausted not one أو أنا تحملي كتجدي. So just to know stratum basale is the first layer, first basal layer. The cells are cuboidal and they show or they have mitotic activity. They divide and produce new cells to replace the shed or the sloughed superficial layers. The range of renewal of the skin varies from one person to another, from one season to another, from one age to another, even from the one nutritional status of an individual to another individual, from 15 to 30 days. يعني كل بانزا بوسير رجالك سكين تازة أبيتوا. The second layer is stratum spinosum. Why it is called stratum spinosum? The cells are, this is the main layer in the epidermis. The cells are connected to each other by a thin process. It looks like a spine, and also it is called prickly layer, prick cells layer. Stratum granulosum, from this layer the keratinization of the skin starts, and it will be completed in the stratum lucidum, and the stratum corneum is totally, the cells loses the nucleus, all cytoplasmic organelles. The only thing found in the cytoplasm is the keratin filaments. أو طبقة مشكلة سلوية epidermis. Also, this image shows the epidermal layers. And what is this? Looks like the snake. What's your matter? Yeah. I'm studying what to learn. Study the name. Hair follicle. See? Hair follicle. Okay, this is the duct of the sweaty gland. Ducty, sweaty gland, the hair. Yet there is a superficial part of the skin. Important thing. الأخوان هو الناس بيئة الأخوان وأما خانين هذا هالين سروا شو أمانة أقولون شو كأمانة صلافين لك يعني دعم مالي يتر هنا هذا بستخدم كورنيوم أواهي ماشي وجروز بتشتى بيشوا. This is very important to know. There are 4 types of cells in the epidermis. يعني أنا لديشوا يعني epidermis stratified squamous epithelial area, but not all these cells are squamous cells. So the main category of cells found in the epidermis are keratinocytes, are squamous cells. The other 3 mentioned cells are scattered among them, but they are found in few number. في نمبر نقدو سيدانا بلام يعني وكو أمانية ما بمليونها أمي علاني بس أضامي. The second one, Langerhans cells. They are dendritic cells. It means the cells which are looks like macrophages, part of immune system, derived from bone marrow monocyte. Rasha? And they are capable of antigen presentation seen in stratum spinosum. أبي كل سيل بزاني لشواهر. مثلا لانجرهانس سيل لا stratum cornea mania, stratum germinativa mania بيظل. راشا لشواه بهوب نسيبي stratum spinosum. Merkel cells are specialized touch receptors and they are regarded as a mechanoreceptor. Why touch receptors? Because base of the cells أمدي تلتان لينا برسم بلا ترابيزان شون it acts as a touch receptor. At the base of these cells, the nerve ending are attached to the base of these cells. يعني nerve ending كان أو كمسؤولة لtouch sensation نساوي the base of the Merkel cells. They are found where it is stratum basale. Rasha? Melanocyte, which is very important and interesting cells, which gives the color to our skin, iris, and hair. They are derived embryonically from neural crest cells. أوج مهمة بيزاني embryonically. أجل من يجني ينمو دكتورة كاملة أنا مين تقولي what are the derivative? يعني mention 3 derivative of neural crest cell. ليش كان melanocyte؟ واستفادة شيء كليرة شهر أيزاني الله يو neural crest cell. It's found in the stratum basale. كواتا دو سيل مان هي الستراتم basale. Merkel melanocyte. هذا كان بأم دس فيها كان. عشان Langerhans spinosum. The keratinocytes found in all layers. Rasha, it contributes the majority or the major percentage of the cells in the epidermis. Rasha. What is the function of melanocytes? It's synthesizing of melanin pigment. Rasha, or melanin pigment. Which give the different tones. يجي زور رشة، يجي أسمرة، رشة أسمرة، زرد أسمرة، سور أسمرة، يجي سبيا، يجي كالا، يجي الباء، البينزم واحد توصل إلى هالنوع melanin pigment. باشا. So the tone of color doesn't depend on the number of melanocytes. أو بسالة معناه هي يجي كي نجروف شماري melanocyte كان زيادة اللي هي من يعني اللي هي يجي كي كوكازيان. يعني هيك كتير هواي زور سكين باشا. The tone of the color depend on the how much the melanin is synthesized and released, which enter the keratinocyte. طبعا أمرنا ميلانين pigmentar يتدرب ولا melanocyte كان أشيبه تشتنا penetration keratinocyte كان باشا ويبزان يعني keratinocyte كان برنجي ميلانين كرنجبن. And also density of melanin pigment. يعني أنا يجيك زور سبيش به يعني أسمر بكرشة برها تابو ما ويكلي زور سيرجع رجع كمان. Because one of the factors that increase the synthesis of the melanin pigment is the sunlight. Also there are many diseases which are cause the increase in the melanin pigment production. Types of melanin pigment. There are two main types of melanin pigment. The first one, which is called neomelanin, which range from black to dark brown. كأويل خومانا هي تقريبا بس بدرجات جواز. And pheomelanin, which is yellow to red. Basha, pheomelanin. Factors participate in skin color. Skin color it's not due to only the melanin pigment. Mania, شرنية. سيرة كي جاري وايشك أسمرة كمشاري السوري بيته دائما. يعني سبيا دائما كمشاري سوري هلا قري. يعني زرد هلا قري. So the melanin is one of the factors which give the color to the skin. Second one, yellow carotene of keratinocyte. It's a protein found in keratinocyte. Red color of the blood. The capillaries mainly in the thin skin, it contains blood. Blood is red in color. So when there is a dilatation of the blood vessels, the color of the skin turns into red. وانيا لترسا يعني تشبيك كان يسلك السوري بيته يعني أترسي شرمكا وانيا أمانة خمس sympathetic innervation كان سر أم blood vessel. Now we have finished the talk about the epidermis. Dermis is consisting, as I mentioned, into outer papillary layer. This is the outer papillary layer and inner reticular layer. If you look to this image, you see the epidermis in both types, in thin and thick skin, is thinner than the dermal layer, dermis. Vanya, harchana epidermis the thick skin. As to the epidermis is thin, bama dermis is still firm وبخير به. So the dermis is very wide, and dermis is consisting of these two layers, outer papillary, which lies directly under the epidermis. It is thinner than the wide area which is occupied by a reticular layer. The surface of epidermis is highly vascular. So the nutrition, يموت مع epidermis epithelium مش avascular. متمان المحاضرة epithelium. لا شو oxygen with nutrition يبغى وجنب البزوانة كله dermis yes. And the area of or the junction between epidermis and the dermis is quite irregular, showing so many projections. The dermal papillae and the invagination of the epidermal ridges, they are interdigitated with each other. يعني أنا شو بنجر كي بناقيك. أما تنطلق أبخشية بتشي يعني ناهل epidermis separation كان لا dermis. Through this interdigitation between the dermal papillae and the epidermal ridge of the epidermis, area. The papillary layer is composed أمام البلاو جرينجا بزاني. Papillary layer التي بيكاتهم. Papillary fat, muscle, bone, loose connective tissue with fine collagen, and it is highly vascular, so it contains large number of blood vessels, with lymphatics and sensory nerve endings or receptors. كواتا شيء تيا blood vessel يزوري تيا نيرفو lymphatic شيء تيا. Reticular layer is thick, and as you see here, you can't compare between them, their texture. It contains thick bundles of kamayana, thick bundles of collagen, and they are distributed in a very irregular way with fewer cells. And نقطعنا شيء nuclei of fibroblasts. And what else found in both layers of the dermis? Elastic fibers. Fibers found in both, which gives the elasticity to the skin. You know the skin can stretch during gaining weight, during pregnancy, especially the skin covering the abdomen, during edema, accumulation of fluid. All these cause the stretching of the skin. If elastic fiber is not found, so the skin cannot stretch. This is a pathological case, which is called bullous pemphigoid. There are so many other examples, but I just choose this one. It is a case of blistering abnormality or disorder due to abnormality in the dermal epidermal junction. أو كبيرتي كوتب interdigitation in some person. There is a defect in this interdigitation. So the skin shows these bullous أو volcanic أو blisters. في قدام bullous pemphigoid. Skin circulation. The most my skin is the dermis. is highly vascular. Just know these two names, papillary plexus, which are found in the papillary layer or in dermal papillae, and dermal plexus, which is found in the junction between the dermis and the hypodermis or subcutaneous tissue. Skin appendages or derivative. What are found inside the skin, or what are things which are arising from the skin, derived from the skin? These are the derivatives: hair, nails, sweat gland, and sebaceous glands. Hair is highly keratinized structure which is resulted or derived from invagination of epidermis. يعني epidermis أتشيت now dermis invagination and it formed a hair follicle. باشا كواتا epidermal epithelium تصير hair follicle يدرس. The color, size, and shape of texture of skin vary according to the age, race, gender, and region of the body. Or genetic. Genetic is very important. It plays a great role in the type of the hair. All skin has at least minimal hair except that of the palm and sole. Emutman, hair and sole are covered by thick skin, which is non-hairy. But this doesn't mean that all thin skin contains hair. There are exceptions, or in certain regions, like lip. Lip is covered by thin skin, but it contains no, because they are in better, some lips, glans penis in male, clitoris in female, labia minora, all these areas. In this area, why in this area the hairs are absent? Because these areas are the area of transition from the skin to the body tract. يعني lip بداية GI tract. It surrounds the oral cavity. So the thin skin will be gradually replaced by mucous membrane, which line the oral cavity, and this is true for other examples I mentioned. The face has about 600 hairs per square centimeter, and the remainder of the body has 60. طبعا face خاصة in male, however, many females also shows hirsutism or excessive hair growth. هذا below estimation هر شخص hair لا 1 سنتيمتر يوجد. Now, the structure of the hair is very important. You see, this is the epidermis. There is an invagination downward invagination of the epidermis forming the hair follicle. The lower end of the hair follicle expands, hair bulb. The base of the hair bulb is invaginated through a dermal papillae. hair papillae يعني dermal papillae. Which contains blood vessels to supply the hair. Hair blood vessel epidermis. أي بتشيل nourishment to oxygen through the blood vessels found in this portion of the dermal papillae. And the epidermal cells covering the dermal papillae form the hair root, hair root. And basha, hamu expansion ka of basha pana hair bulb. Balan au epithelial ka hair dermal papillae da abush ladili now amount of the hair root. From here the division of cell and growth of hair starts. نقل السروة خلق لك قسم بريوة زي السروة للدروات growth لجيرو growth. Okay. This is the histological image of the hair. We have hair papillae or dermal papillae, hair bulb, and hair follicle with hair root inside. Layers that cover the hair from inside to outside. At the center we have medulla, then cortex, internal root sheath, IRS, with external root sheath. This is 4. Both of these layers, it means the internal root, external root sheath, here continues with the stratified epithelium. يعني هتا استوى بالدوام. Outside the external root sheath, we have glassy membrane, a membrane which looks like, it is very homogeneous, looks like the glass, and which continues with the basement membrane of the epidermis. يمنا معنود epidermis أما glassy membrane كا لقل basement membrane epidermis continuous. Then we have surrounding connective tissue called or connective tissue layer. A rectal pili muscle, it is very interesting structure in the hair. Sometimes when you have an emotional stress or sometimes جاني خاصة أفراد تشتكي هنا بيتستير الله متشكم بيها يعني لا ترسى لا سرمة سينكي بيستي هنا تشيلي هموي small pimples appear. This is because of the contraction of this fine muscle which is smooth muscle. Smooth muscle. أما اللي أبي بيزاني أبي أما تشي smooth muscle هنا it's involuntary. تو بدس خونية كمتشكت بيها. هتا يا ورا أول ما متشكنا إلا ما قد بيلاش تيجي السيد السمارو يعني هين يعني كبيرة emotional يعني thirsty. So this strip or thin bundle of smooth muscle is attached to follicular sheath. Follicular sheath كأي أوي كليرة شان ما. أما عندك connective tissue sheath كأوه يعني the outer layer which covers the hair follicle and the dermal papillae. What number اسمها هو؟ This is the erector pili muscle bundle or smooth muscle. The lower end is attached to the outer connective tissue sheath, and the upper end is attached to the dermal papillae. That's why when it gets contraction كتير أمسكنا يعني أو بشر راكش بخار, producing a small dimple or pimple around the base of the shaft of the hair and led to the hair to erect our bahini our stator. One point I forget to Basbinus now have more automatic quota. This erector pili muscle is absent in eyelashes. Because Brjani Arab now also in the eyebrow. And one interesting point as far as the erector pili. This erector pili muscle is not found in eyelashes and eyebrows. And one important thing, it's always located on the side with inclination where the hair incline. يعني hair كبت شو بهذيك الكوتشة؟ هون الملاهي distal. Right and left where they are directed towards the outside. when you كواتا مصلك للاي دروا مثلا left hand the left side of the hair follicle بيبي كشامة عكسها هو كcontraction كابوي حركة عالية هذا يعني imagine the process and it is innervated by sympathetic nervous system. That's why it is seen in the emotional stress, fear and أشتاني كراس معك.
دكتورة سالة ودت أما سموث مصل بندل أي شون درست بوا أما مع أكتر مع سينكا يكنام بوا أوي كبندل درست بيجايا.
بندل يعني ناخي أما خويك مصل فايبر مية أما مصلك مصل. لتشندين مصل فايبر كذا. أكتين فيلامنت أكتين ماسي فيلامنت found within a single muscle fiber. لأنها مصل فايبر كذا. نموت يعني قلت ساكومير يعني.
ما أزال مش ساكومير كدروس نبي إدوائي شون بندلا كدروس نبي. ما بس مع.
Any muscle is formed from many muscle fibers. Together, they have insertion and origin. ليه insertion كي كمان لها مو مصلق لبضيع. هر مصلق skeletal ب smoothie هي نالم هي hollow organs ليه طبعا. أما origin كي مش insert. ها هو insert to the dermal cavity. أما مصلقي قورية. However, it is microscopic, but it is not formed from single muscle fiber. ليه خانة بيجنا هاتما. باشا أنا هو ما زور قوريني ولا رسمة كوها. It is microscopic structure. Okay? You get it? The phenomena that they produce. ممكن كردي هو ما كان boozing يعني بوز فلاش باشا أو بزانة boozing يعني boozing. Alopecia totalis and areata, when the hair is lost from entire body surface, the scalp or eyebrow, eyelashes, هموي بيوتري alopecia totalis, يعني total body. Alopecia areata, it means patches of the scalp, for example here, shows loss of the hair. It is an autoimmune disorder. أما viral أو أشتانه autoimmune. There is antibody. The body produces antibody against its own cells. باشا علاج الشيء طبعا. Sebaceous glands. They are holocrine, branch acidic glands. These are omega 2 أشياء. أمانة شيء sebaceous gland. They are together, the ducts are converged to main duct, which opens onto the surface of the hair. The always, wherever the hair is found, there are sebaceous glands. But this is not true when there are sebaceous glands for the hair to be found. يعني دائما hair رجعها بين sebaceous gland تبين. بلا بعض شون هي sebaceous gland تيايو هي شيء أو أبي بيزانه. أنت product سيبا يعني product كأرجيت السرشي سرشام. لبرو أواني oily skin oily hair يعني دائما خشيان تشوره به. لبرو أما produce large amount or they are very active. Okay. Where they are found, except bonusiyun, basheen, eyelid, nipple lip, glans, penis, and labia minora. أما أشوفنا أنا بكوت شر تيلينيا. Tiliena. Yes. No. But they are embedded in the dermis over most of the body. اللي أما يعني تشي. يموت من دائما لدمها مهيرة كاهي. ونيا. وهي not found in this area, but they have sebaceous glands. ونيا. زوزو the eyelid is partner كيتوا تشوره بين the other place. Embedded in the dermis. Let's show where is the location of the sebaceous gland? In the dermis, deep in the dermis, and except in the thick skin. The thick skin are near. حد دست تشوره بيه قد دست نيابي بشي كيتوا. حاجة. Clinical correlate as far as the sebaceous gland, acne vulgaris or acne is a chronic inflammation of obstructed sebaceous gland. The duct of the sebaceous gland becomes obstructed by cellular debris, by so the duct becomes obstructed and lead to inflammation of the sebaceous glands. However, there is a normal secretion and flow of this. طبعا there normal secretion وفلو سيبا مكان عالية تولد شو أمينة تولد نام glandك جابوا تولد super added by bacterial infection وأمر يعني. Sweat gland is the last topic of our lecture. Also, they are derived from the epidermis, so they are epidermal. They are found in two types. Majority of our sweat glands are of eccrine type, which opens into the skin. كذا قرمات هذا مشان عرق dusted حتى your soul. This is because the secretion will be directly connectivity to the surface of the body. The second type is apocrine, which open into the hair follicle. They are found in the axilla, in the groin, and they usually produce very offensive odor. And these, one more important point I didn't mention her reason, apocrine يعني مثلا كل كتشاتات يبدي لبلا ويكات فوليكوليميا الأكسيلا groin معانا عرقنا كاتو ولا بنباخلو ولا شوني تريم بوني نابي بوشي the sweat glands are found and embryonically druze bua but they becomes activated under the sex hormones which will be released at the time of puberty. Sweat glands have different distribution and function with structural details. Eccrine أول ليلة مهمة. Eccrine sweat gland is which type of gland? Simple coil. Simple coil. يعني يكتيوبو ريشة branchinginial coil. With small lumen or narrow lumen, they are widely distributed and more numerous to be found on the more numerous on the palm and sole of the feet. The secretory part of the eccrine sweat gland is paler than the duct. Why? Because the ducts are lined by two layers of cuboidal cells, and cuboidal cells are large cells in the base of cytoplasm. And there are three types of cells in the duct of eccrine glands. Clear cells, which produce the sweat, dark cells have bactericidal activity. يعني معدية كرشة لايسوسوم كان بكتيريا أكوجين to certain extent يعني نك صيصة بكتيريا هم تكوجيبهم معدية. لقد ما epithelial cell produce contraction. Surrounding the duct of each sweat gland there are small contractile epithelial cells. When epithelial cell they can't contract called myoepithelial cells. When they contract, they squeeze the duct and eject or pour the sweat outside. The duct of eccrine gland lined by stratified cuboidal. أما شخص مكانه استعمل duct كي سيرة كي has narrow lumen أما شيء narrow lumen and lined by two layers of cuboidal cells. Apocrine sweat gland that confined to axillary region and perineal region or groin have larger lumen. The secretory portions consist of simple cuboidal eosinophilic cells. The duct is lined by stratified. All the duct of the sweaty gland or the salivary gland, large salivary glands, are lined by stratified cuboidal epithelium. Ducts, as I mentioned, of the apocrine gland, similar to the sebaceous gland, they open directly into the hair follicle. Produce viscid secretion. The secretion of the eccrine sweat gland is watery. Contains sodium chloride, bicarbonate, legal, and paste sphere. Apocrine is viscid, tosilinja, and initially it is odorless. يكم ذاك الرجلية odorless, بونينية. بلام يجي خوينا شوا خوينا صغير خوي باقنا كاتو أنا. It becomes acted on by the bacteria which are living on the surface, not on the surface of the body, and they produce this offensive odors. Nail, as you see, it's a plate of keratinized cells. Dead tissue, because it is keratinized, found on the dorsum of the distal phalanx. Phalanx يعني أجهز قناني كأنجي درس بدوا سيانة هنجوينا كان يوم دبنيا. The distal phalanx is the dorsal surface of the distal pharynx is covered by this nail. The nail root here is covered by equonychium. أم قوسي قاعدة هين أجر بيبي نجاري واش زيا أبيته زيا غوشكين زيا بيستو شدلو زكانا في equonychium. The nail bed lies beneath the nail. أو بشيك nail كلا سري دانش تبيت nail bed. Let's see peccato stratum basale and spinosum. The two layers of the tennis skin, stratum basale and spinosum. Cells in the matrix. Cells of the matrix divide, move distally, and cornify, not cornify, cornify. يعني become keratinized, yes, become dead. And they form the nerve layer. This is the lateral view of the nail. This is the tip of your finger. This is nail plate, and we have nail matrix here. يعني the growth of the nails is starting from here. The cells start to divide and increase in number, leading to lengthening of the nail. أول هيج أما سلايدة لبيش أخير ما أما هاد فرق هيج نيا. Aging skin, while the skin age from this nice, delicate, cute skin in the babies to this همو تمنك جواني خوي هي بلام يعني أم بيست جوانا شي بسدي. First of all, the epidermis start to thin. Epidermis هي تهنيك أبيتها. جاب الرومين ما شنو ما له بدأ First of all, the epidermis start to thin. Number of melanocytes decreases as they decrease in the hair, and their activity decreases. Change in the connective tissue reduce the skin strength and elasticity. Connective tissue لا شو على dermis. Change رؤية. Destruction of the collagen fiber and elastic fiber. All these lead to wrinkles and aging of the skin. Also, the blood vessels in the dermis becomes very fragile, easily injured. يعني يصيرك يقدر إذا أمالك تجوز الزربة كمان سيرك يتشيا دست اشتيان جاري واشين بوتوا. يعني هلا خويا وقوايا نزيفة سبكيتاني was bleeding هي. لبرو blood vessel كان توانانية وتنطوليانية ديوارا كان أيش هالكونكتر تشوف ديوارا أو السيلة أو أنيا رابتشر كاتو أوية. The dermal papillae decrease in number and depth. Then the skin becomes fragile, lose its suppleness, يعني flexibility, and develop these wrinkles. Thank you very much. Good luck, inshallah.